UCSF has a really long history of working towards equity and diversity. However, in 2020, after the murder of George Floyd and so many others, we heard an outcry across the country, and we heard an outcry here at UCSF. Members of our community came forward and said we really needed to do more to accelerate the pace of equity here at UCSF. And so from that, we were able to establish the Advancing Equity and Staff Recruitment process, utilizing evidence-based best practices in the ways in which we recruit and hire new members of our staff.
The Advancing Excellence in Staff Recruitment program is a very important program to make sure that we are diversifying the leadership. It is a program that brings standardization of best practices to that process.
We start off, we have an equity advisor that comes in that talks about unconscious bias, implicit bias, and greater than 50% of the search committee has to be of a diverse background. If the equity advisor comes in and realizes that there's not, there will be a substitution made to ensure that there's diversity in the search committee. When I was interviewing, it was one of the most diverse panels that I had ever been on.
Those committees have to be at least 50% female or gender nonconforming, as well as inclusive of underrepresented minority groups.
And it insists on getting a diverse pool of candidates before we allow the search to conclude.
So from that, we have a better informed, diverse committee with a diverse pool of candidates that can make a decision really based on the specifics of the job and eliminating the impact of bias on that decision-making process.
Without that intentionality, we won't be successful.
I started with UCSF close to 15 years ago. My interest in equity in the workplace has been informed by my own experience as someone who immigrated to the United States. And as being a part of a selection committee, I think this program has helped me a lot just to look at resumes and go beyond the simple requirements of the job.
Our objective of the program really is to focus on the process, is to try to remove as much bias out of the process as possible, and also have an intentional outreach to communities that have been historically excluded from these types of selections and recruitments.
We are employing what we have determined leads to success in diversifying recruitment of leadership positions.
It's achieving demographic diversity in our leadership to match the patients and the community that we serve. This ultimately makes patient care better by ensuring we have a comprehensive, inclusive, and equitable lens at all times in all things that we're doing.
It's one initiative that cuts across the entire enterprise, and we partner very, very closely with the Office of Diversity and Outreach. We have seen, and we measure this on an annual basis, the racial composition of our leaders increasing racial diversity year after year.
And if we want the best talent, we have to actually do it in a way that eliminates the barriers to full opportunities across race, ethnicity, and other forms of differences so that we can get the best and continue to advance our mission.
Any institution is only as good as the last person they hired. So every opportunity to hire is an opportunity to make the university better.